All right, we're recording. Let me turn up the volume.
Should we close the door?
Okay.
Do you have a copy of it? I even have a copy of mine.
No, I wouldn't print it, only print it.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Dupuy.
Dupuy.
Yes.
Okay, Dupuy. Okay, we're here to debrief Magali Dupuy.
Uh-huh.
And we are debriefing a lesson for students ages 14 to 15 years old. The lesson took place from 7:42 a.m. to 9:20 a.m. It is a lesson for 9th grade students. Okay, so we're gonna start with some warm feedback.
So I was telling Liz, I love how you had, the kids got to set up their lab station, because that's one big chunk of the science teaching is setting up, measuring things out, getting everything prepped, whereas in middle school, a lot of the stuff you have to do ahead of time, the time constraints and just the immaturity. So that was great to see. I liked, I know you had problems with your materials, so you were able to get that out of the way, make sure everything was set up. And I think the way that how the setup was with the water and the sand was really brought home with the lamps and what you were trying to get them to see. It was very obvious to see the changes with the samples you had, and it didn't take long, and it was real efficient. So I loved it.
Yeah. It was, for me, this was extremely interesting because I had most of those students last year. So it was really, really nice to see them in a different setting. I was really impressed with how the students worked together in groups and how they helped each other when they were working with each other in the groups.
Okay, and my warm feedback is students were on task and very independent. They just knew what they were doing. It flowed nicely. There was minimal confusion. It looks like they've been doing it all year. They knew exactly what to do. I also like that the lesson included many really important skills, such as measuring every minute and graphing. Those are skills that we may think are simple, but they're not. Students forget every year those really, really important skills that tie into math and tie into every area of science. And I also was impressed with the actual lesson, because I thought specific heat is something that is difficult to have a lesson for, and I thought that was very it was perfect. It was two substances that that are so simple and common,
right?
And they were able to see firsthand
very easily
the major difference in their specific heats. So, okay, so that was the warm feedback. We're gonna now do cool feedback.
I couldn't really think of much because it was, you could tell you're a seasoned teacher. You could tell the kids know what they're doing. It would be cool for people to go around and look at other setups and, switch off and see what other lab groups did. That's the only thing, in addition, if you had time, that'd be cool to do. That's it. It's not really.
I just wanted to say one more quick thing that came to my mind when you were talking about the warm feedback. There was one girl who said right into the camera, "I have no idea about what I'm doing." I didn't believe her. I did not believe her because she was so focused and she worked the whole entire time. So I didn't believe what she said, just so you know. Cool feedback. I was not sure, other than you knowing from year to year that you know what the children have misconceptions about, I'm not sure how you determined what their student misconceptions were. Oh, from the Do Now, I see.
Yes, and I think I added to the paper that I was going to bring it with me. So I gave them a Do Now the day before.
Oh, okay.
And
then
that's cool. I read it and I was laughing, and I said, "Oh, we're going to do a lab," and I gave them the opportunity to set up a lab, to write up a lab. And from what I saw, I think they need a lot of work with that. One person had something that was halfway decent, so I said, "Okay, we're using mine." And that was it.
Well, okay, so you answered my question.
Yeah.
Okay, that was actually the same cool feedback I had. I wanted to know what the tie-in was to the misconception.
That's it, all right.
In other words, what do you find is a major misconception in this particular lesson?
Well, according to them, from what I'm reading, they had that the sun's heat goes directly to the sand and it's fast in the water, which is true. And somebody said the water reflects most of it. And somebody had a very interesting idea that the water is evaporated and condenses, leaving the cold water. I can't figure that one out, but
Okay.
then we also have the sand feels hot because the sun beams at the small sediments for many hours and the sun reflects off the water. Somebody actually had something about their body temperature. The water feels cold because the water is cooler, but your body gets used to the warm sand, so the water feels cooler than what it really is.
Oh, okay.
So I had a lot of different, and this is kid who's, that I had moved from the Regents to the honors kids, Michael Wyman.
Oh, yeah, because I took him out.
Right. Oh, okay. The sand feels hot because of the direct rays hitting the sand. I had given them two questions before that. He says, why do you go to the beach on a hot summer day? And where would you prefer to live in the city or on the coast, and why? And then the question was, with the misconception was, why do you think that during the summer the sand feels hot and the water is cold?
That's a great question. Yeah, I
And
understand.
then these were these, if you want, I have all these, there are 26 kids in the class, so I have about 26 answers, 26 misconceptions. Some of them were very similar, but some of them were very different. So if you want to look at them,
Okay.
you can do that.
So before we look at the student work, did you want to add anything else about the lesson so that we can ask any questions we may have?
Okay, as Sissy said, our whole setup we used before, there were two setups. They disappeared. We happened to have found some heat lamps that were stacked up, but they were not well matched with the clamps. And I had to go buy, that weekend, I had to go buy 15 heat lamps. 15 bulbs for the heat lamps. Then, when we were trying to set them up, the teacher would have set them up, but then he was teaching. He didn't have a duty. He was trying to help him out. When I go there, nothing is set up except for the bulbs and the things. So we tried to set them up so that their heat lamps are toppling over. So as the kid says, we can help you. So the three kids, Jay, Chase, and Chris, they're all rubrics people. So they were putting it together. They got they used this clamp, they used this clamp. They were very creative, and we got 9 heat lamps going. Usually I had 13 for a big class. We had 9 heat lamps. I tripled them on the thing, and it worked out great. And the only thing, we had some great results because this time we used a darker sand. We didn't use the white sand.
Yeah, get hotter.
So that really worked.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
because
gets
then,
hot.
Darker
Yeah.
sand worked
Yeah.
much better than that.
I bet you couldn't hardly touch it.
Well, we
Yeah,
didn't.
very hot.
We didn't touch it. I told them, do you keep the thermometer in the sand?
Yeah,
Keep
just-
the thermometer there, and then you don't need to keep your face. One girl said, "Can I go to the window? I'm getting red." I said, "You already red?"
Yeah.
And I said,
Hot.
"Just don't put your face there." It was very
Yeah,
hot. It
very
was
hot
also a
heat
very
lamp.
muggy day.
Yeah.
So I said, just read the thermometer when you have to. Stay where you are. Move back, and then when the time comes up, they had to use their cell phone because it was so. I didn't have all the equipment. I said, "Okay, one person from you get your cell phone." And because they leave it in the box, get your cell phone and use the timer.
Yeah.
And then that's how they were able to do
Yeah,
that.
a lot of your equipment. It's good that you were able to make it work with on the fly, basically, like time
It's
rushing
like,
getting stuff you're supposed to have.
I could not
That's
believe
hard.
it. But right now we have a key change, the lock.
Oh, the lock on the
The lock
supplies.
is going to change, and I'm going to split them into different rooms. So if you want to take it, we can't do anything with it. But we did start talking about the labs, and I do have the labs also.
okay.
Yeah, I haven't finished grading them, but we do have the lab as we were doing.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So, does
they
anyone
always
have
check.
any questions? Any questions? Where do you go? My question is, what are you doing after climate and weather? What's the next
Space.
space?
That's my last unit.
And then
I'm
you're done with
combining
earth
the
science.
two, yes. I'm
Okay.
combining the two. With the 2 honors class, I will be finished and hopefully have a week or 2 of review. That's the first for me. With my Regents classes, I don't know.
Okay. Was this a Regents class?
This was the honors class.
Okay.
Yes.
So, let's look at some student work for a
Okay.
little bit. We could just pass it around and then you can
Okay,
give your
sorry.
closing remarks
Okay.
and then we're done. Is this all the same lab?
This is all the same lab
Okay,
for
so
that
you know what I'll do?
particular lab.
Let's break it up into thirds maybe, and we can always switch.
Okay.
Or that you gave me, okay.
I have
These
to
are
do
the
that.
switch.
misconceptions.
Okay, yeah.
These are the
I
misconceptions.
didn't have all these kids.
No, some of the kids, as you say, they're very weak, and I think the parents put them there. So we are pushing our way through.
I don't know what just is.
And we just push ourselves through.
This one, she's so funny, she personalized everything,
Mm-hmm.
and scientific answers.
You have some nice write-ups here that we can use for the presentation.
Oh, nice.
We can
Okay.
scan. I really like the graphing.
Okay.
They were very
No.
careful, I was watching them do it.
Oh, yes, no, that's something that we push because the regions, in fact, I'm doing a regions review, and they're seeing, those who are coming, they are seeing, there's a lot of graphing. There's always a graph on the regions, so I have been pushing for the graph.
Do they have to label their axes and identify variables on the regions?
No.
It's usually filled in.
It's already
Interesting.
filled in.
I didn't know
Sometimes,
that.
sometimes they'll allow them,
Living
they'll
environment
ask
is
them.
too, it's filled
Yeah.
in.
No, but sometimes they'll ask them to actually,
Oh, they'll give you a choice and you have to pick where it should go. That's what I've seen.
well,
Or
not really
they
a choice,
also
tell
have
Yeah, I'm not
you
gonna
have
put
to
it with
put-
it.
you have to put numbers on it.
Number.
You have to
So
put
you
not
have to
all the time.
label, you have to scale it, you have to
You have
have
to
your
scale
own.
it,
Make your
yes.
scale.
Not, okay.
Yes, so I'm trying to show them how to do that also.
Yeah, how to
And-
look at their data and decide.
Exactly.
All the years I taught living environment, they never had a bar graph, and I always told kids, it's always gonna be a line graph. Well, 2009.
Oh,
You
no,
had a bar
don't
graph.
tell me they threw in a bar graph.
So I always
Of
tell them
course.
whatever I say, what the regions could do whatever they want, so.
No, that's what I tell them. I said, sometimes they give you a leeway, and I'll take out the rubric, and I say, okay, this is the leeway they give you. I said, but I don't know if maybe they had a fight the night before when they were writing the exam, or if they did not have their ice cream. So what you need to do is to be as
Know it all
accurate
as you can, yeah.
Accurate as you can.
Yeah, I'm doing that in seventh grade. I do a big graphing unit.
Mm-hmm. No, we grab from the get-go.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
grab
we
from
do
the
it.
get-go.
And even then, they forget.
Does
'Cause
it? Yeah.
I find
No matter
that
how
I
much.
include it in every unit.
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
also have a separate unit like you at the beginning.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sometimes-
toward the end, they start remembering and,
Mhm.
you know,
You have to just
after
repeat it, get it
repetition,
real-
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I have
over
some
and
other
over.
students who
So
will say
looks
to me,
Looks like a
am
nice
I
class.
supposed
Yeah,
to
Thanks.
connect the dots? And I'm
Because
like,
some teachers say best fit line, but I'm like, best fit line doesn't always work.
It
You
could also
gotta-
be a scatter plot.
Scatter plot,
yeah, but
right?
the thing is,
But
I
it
tell them
usually
your
says-
directions.
Yeah, the directions
True,
tell you what to
Directions,
do.
True,
procedure.
absolutely.
If it,
Sure.
what kind of a graph does it tell you to do? A line graph. I said, well, how do you do a line graph?
Mhm.
Connect the dots. I said, why are you asking me if you know the answer?
Yeah, just do it.
Or sometimes it will tell you best to a curve line if we do the hurricane tracking.
Mm.
Connect your point to the smooth curve line. Am I supposed to use a ruler? I said, what do your directions say?
Yeah.
They always want you to say, and the one who
They
said
want you.
she
They think
what
they
to
know,
do,
but they just want to verify.
She always wants you to tell her
She
what
has
to
it
do.
fine.
So we good? I can turn
Any
off the-
closing remarks? That's it, I think you told us everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about
Yep,
it.
yep.
So this marks the end of our debriefing for Magali Dupuy.
Yes.
Dupuy.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I
Don't worry
think
about
I
it.
sounded, trying to